Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace. Just now leaving my neighborhood, and I turned on the road next to the school that's out there, and it's an elementary school, and there were two cars coming toward me. The one in the second one was just coming down the road real fast. I mean, right next to the school and the school playground, okay? And today's Friday. And I'm like, you better slow down. It was coming so fast, it was going to hit the car in front of it. If it didn't slow down, I mean, seriously. Had to be going 40, 50, I don't know. I'm like, oh my God. You know, it's not always me that people tailgate. It's just some people, you know, like I used to call this Narcissismville. Just different areas, not any real place. You know, but that's crazy. You know, I see so much of that in neighborhoods with kids and, you know, around elementary schools. This is pathetic. Around schools. What is wrong with people who do that? Like this one right here driving so fast. There's the police hub right there. Okay. I'm like, bunch of idiots, man. Okay, not that the police hub should be, you know, the thing. You shouldn't drive fast, you know, fast, period. And in a neighborhood, really, you know, where there are houses right there, kids, in that neighborhood, anywhere, you shouldn't be speeding, period. Like that thing I looked up here in Texas. I could hear the person say it the way that they put it is, period, the law, period. It is the law. I could hear it. I could hear the person who wrote it. It is the law. Speed limits, yeah. To mind them. When you live in Narcissismville, you're the one who's doing wrong. If you're not going at least 10, no, that's illegal. It is the law. What the heck is that? So many people think they write the laws as they see fit. No, you don't. Anyway, let's get on to something else. I do that about in every video. Well, it's because I do drive vlogs. See? That's how it works. But anyway, okay, I'm sitting here for a couple of minutes. Well, however long it takes me to finish what I'm not finished, but talk about this. Okay, let's move on. As far as my health, I just had made some videos about being in the hospital. Hopefully I put this on the right channel. You know, I was actually admitted and in it for basically 2 days, one night. It was pretty bad. It was something that happened last year. Basically, I swell up and I look like I'm 9 months pregnant. Okay, a 61-year-old woman looks like she's 9 months pregnant. Yeah, anyone with any logic could, you know, analytical skills could say, there's something wrong with this picture. But I just read one of the doctor's comments. Whatever they wrote, whatever. I'm getting used to this. They kept sending me texts. Get online in the portal. I can't stand this portal crap. I don't like to do anything online. Being a victim of identity theft. Nope. I don't really like, you know, anything that's going to have my name and history or whatever. Anybody can steal and use whatever they wore. And in case you're wondering, it has actually happened to Adam in a different way. They got his credit card that way. And they were in, I think he said I thought he said it was in Paris. But anyway, they charged up a bunch of money, a bunch of stuff, you know. He got it back, but anyway. So you know, when you have a history, both, you know, me and Adam, you know, the man I met and married over 40 years ago. He was older than I. That's important to the rest. But anyway, or maybe if I get that far with this video. Anyway, let me get back to this. I read the notes and you know, went to try to get on the portal because I finally feel good, okay enough to sit down for a little while. And it's, so much. But I couldn't believe his notes were like there was nothing. Are you blind? Are you blind? Okay. No account for some, or unless I read it wrong. I could have read it wrong, because dude, when a 61-year-old woman's stomach is that, yeah. But I could have read it wrong. It could have been something about something else that they were looking at. So I'm going to go home and read them. And I'm also going to print them all out. Yeah. Have a hard copy. Anyway, what I didn't talk about was I had to wind up going back to the hospital. How many days was it? 2, 3, I don't know. Through the ER, which this time I didn't get admitted because I was bragging, not really bragging, but stating fact is when I went in this time and got admitted and was in there, what had not happened was the really gross stuff that happened last year. Okay, yeah, and last year there was, and I learned this time that, because I had to go back because that started, okay, this year. And it didn't happen, it should have happened. It would have been great if it had happened while I was in the hospital, and then they could really talk to me about it and really explain it more than an ER doctor who wants to hurry up and get going, to the next one. But anyway, what I thought was, okay, gross stuff, hey, it's gonna happen. Like I said, gross stuff. Last year, when I went to the ER, my stomach was, swollen to look like I was 9 months pregnant, but there was something gross that was happening, and it looked like it was bleeding from the navel, bleeding and pus. It smelled like, oh my gosh, horrible. Okay, I went 3 times last year, twice in May, once in June, because it kept happening. Well, this time it didn't happen. It was just that it was very swollen, and it hurts, of course, it was hurting. And that's when they admitted me. Nothing happened, 2 days, 1 night, nothing, no blood and all that. Go home 2 days, 3 days later, it starts doing that, at nighttime. It was around 11 at night. And the thing was, I can laugh at it now. I kind of could then too, because I was walking around, Adam had gone to bed. His niece, who's about half my age, she was upstairs, in her room, we'll call it. And I kept smelling something. I said, what did those dogs do? I have dogs, inside dogs. And I thought one of them probably, because I heard one of them running upstairs, and sometimes that one will do that, run upstairs and go to the bathroom on this little bridge we have up there, from one part to the other. And I can't go up there because of my knees. I can't walk up the stairs. So I was trying to see, is that over there? Where is it? All this stuff. And then I went into the room. There's a room where I watch TV, and there's a bed in there too. And I laid down to watch some TV. And I still kept smelling this awful smell, like a dog had, done its business in the house. I kept walking. And then I sat up, and I don't know what had happened. I went, what is it? Is it here? And yeah, I know this is embarrassing. I don't care about talking about embarrassing stuff. You wouldn't believe what I had to teach. Oh my. But anyway, yeah, it was my navel. And it was bad. It was leaking. It was pouring out. Okay, just like last year. And last year it started all in April, I think. And so, I know the score. So I went and told Adam, and he said I said, you don't have to go. I'll go by myself. The hospital's not all that far. And, but he said he didn't want to go, and then he finally, just as I was about to leave, he said he wanted to go. And he was grumpy old man the whole while. I'm serious. I was like, oh my gosh. I told him at one point, I said, you should have just stayed home. Yeah. But anyway, the doctor there, I showed it. It was basically stopped of course. You know, it's kind of like my legs. I have edema, and anytime I would go to a healthcare like this, including this time, the first time I was admitted, it doesn't look like that. And I'm not kidding. It's so funny. Anytime I go to any healthcare provider, that's what happens. But, uh-oh, some kids walking up. These kids, I'm telling you, they're teenagers. I'm always just kind of surprised. They go walking around, I guess, at their lunch period. And, because it's always around lunch, and it's around lunch. 12:26, actually. And I know, I taught at these schools. I know that they don't have that long for lunch. I mean, you're doing good to get from your last class to the cafeteria inside the school, and then back to the next class. You know, eating back to the next class. You know, I don't know how they do it, but they walk so far from the school too. It just amazes me. But anyway, I am good at digressing. I'm great at digressing. Anyway, so where was I? So the doctor I had seen in that ER before, and he was apparently having problems and had an attitude. I'm so tired of healthcare providers, male or female, having a problem, you know, there internally or at home, wherever, not related to me, and just being really, I call both males and females, any pronoun, a bitch if they're being a bitch, and he was being a bitch. Okay, and just attitude problem, but he did say something that all the other ones hadn't said, and he said that just as I kind of suspected, and that it could be that I had the way he put it was, it could be that I have a small hernia. I did not know women can get hernias, but yes, they can. I had read since then, before then even, that yes, women can get small hernias. And basically what seems to be happening, because the way they dress this and all this stuff dressed, my wound with surgical tape, not wound, but my abdominal area with surgical tape, is that the muscles somehow there are, instead of aligned, I guess because all this freaking swelling, they don't go into detail. I'm going to read, and hopefully there's more greater detail. But the muscles are rubbing against one another and causing this, you know, like an abscess or something, and making, the way I described it, it just feels like they're rubbing together, and they feel raw, like they're making chaffing, whatever. And so so the way the nurse that was there, she was more, usually I find more information from nurses than PAs or the actual physician. And I find more, I get more. So yeah, it's all, I've known that since I was young. I've seen it that way. But anyway, so in that, what I think his pus is not, he told me, and Adam was with me in the room, he said that it is a fluid. I don't remember exactly how to put it, and I cannot pronounce what it was. It was a long two-name thing. You know, plus I'm not well. When I'm not well, my brain takes a vacation, big time. Especially when a lot of stuff is being thrown at me like that, like both times. Adam's not sick. He couldn't even get it all down. But anyway, that it's not pus, it's some kind of fluid the body creates to get well. Okay? And it's more like a lubricant. Really, the body creates its own lubricant. Y'all have to forgive me for laughing, but some of this stuff is like, you know, it's like, wow. But at the same time, a little bit funny. I'm very mature these days with being this. I have noticed I tend to, when I'm sick, I tend to get silly. So, or sillier. But anyway, and the older I get sillier. Well, I've been sick for over a year, okay? Over a year. I've been doing this over a year. and they're still not figuring out what's wrong, what's causing this. But they are kind of figuring it out. It just took a lot, a lot of things happening. And another set of kids here, I think. No, just one. Okay, before I forget, another thing that I really did kind of verify is that, I've known for a short while. I'm thinking even like a couple of weeks or so, but no, it was gradual. It was gradual, but lately, it said I have hearing problem. Okay. Anyway, what was I talking about? There's something that happened right in the middle of all this. Oh, there's some kids. Oh, you can't see them. Oh, come back over here. There's one of those Tesla. Adam says they're called trucks. Tesla truck. Can you see it? Yeah. I can't see if you can see it. Yeah, the second one right there. They're all over the place now. Don't know why. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh, the hearing thing. Now, I have always had great hearing for distance. I remember some of my students there were two boys that were sitting across. The classrooms aren't all that huge, but this was one of the bigger classrooms, and was sitting there on the other side near the board, and they were whispering to one another, and it was middle school, probably, or 9th grade, whatever it was. And because I did a lot of, they call me visiting teacher. The rest of us call it substitute teaching. But anyway, they were sitting there and they were talking to one another in a whisper, like they were plotting and planning something. And I'm way at the teacher's desk, And I'm hearing them doing that and thinking, yeah, they don't know some people like me. I really do have great hearing for distance. Not so much up close. Anyway, they were plotting and planning, and I said, oh, no, you won't. The whole classroom looked at me. It was hilarious. I said, you're not going to do that. And they said, no way. You couldn't hear us from there. No way. I said, yes way. And, and said, you're not going to do blank, 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 whatever it was. And the whole classroom, they were like, there's no way you could hear that far. But yes, I can. Okay, forgive me, because, I live in North Central Texas, and we're still having, the way it shows up, very high pollen. One day this year, I look every day online, and one day this year, the only one I saw was just high pollen. It wasn't very high pollen. It was just high pollen. You can see what I'm saying. It's been awful this year. But anyway, back to that. But I noticed especially this, while I was in the hospital, that my hearing for close, I never have had that ability to hear a lot when somebody's close to me. Especially if there's something else going on behind it. That's what I hear, is what's going on behind it, combined with what somebody's trying to tell me. And it's just too much, and I can't make out what they're saying if they're real close. Ever since I was young, so it's not like because I've gotten old. But now I notice that especially more. Of course, now that part is because I'm getting old. Not old, older. Yeah. And, we're not old at this age, people. Get a grip. I'm one that should have told when I was younger. People in their 60s aren't old. I remember when I was in my early 30s and thought somebody in their late 30s was old. Oh boy, shame on me, shame on me. And I'm actually one who taught at college and university against things like racism, sexism, ageism, classism, the negative isms as I call them. But ageism, and that's it was historically about people 40 years old and older. But now it's kind of changed a little bit, or people are trying to get it to change. But really it was about people at 40 years and older. And a lot of it was about the EEOC and, job opportunities for anybody 40 and older. And so there's so much more to that, so that's not all. But anyway, let's see, what else? Yeah, I have to turn it off and on because of this. I'm waiting to pick up something here, and then I'm gonna go do some stuff. I gotta go buy bandages. Yeah, but yeah, I should talk about that. When I went the second time, this time they gave me a surgical tape shield. That's my brain. I'm telling you, I get sillier. But shield for the abdominal area, which is good in more than one way, but it keeps all that from moving. You know, I mentioned in one video that I don't think of myself as sashaying so much, but apparently so. You know, I've been watching Suits. I'm almost finished. I got 2 more episodes of the whole series watching on Netflix. I didn't even know it existed until August. Okay, this year, 2024. And I've been plowing through it since I really, you know, I was in so much pain and couldn't leave and all that stuff. And, well, I could, me. I don't really stay at home enough, really. But, I could only go out once. I worked one day that I earned money last month. I probably went out more, you know, to try, but that was mainly the weather, but also my body has been hurting since I started working last year, at the end of July of last year. You know, and I'm doing that for health insurance, not the money, but to prove to the government that I deserve affordable health care. Yeah. That's the short version, and I'm learning new anytime I call them, something new. But anyway, I haven't worked, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to, because of this little, like they showed this tape thing. I had to order the tape, and it, you know, the 3M, it's called microfoam, and it's got to go across my stomach. Now the nurse, she did it, she didn't tell me, but she gave me some of it to, you know, she just handed it, said, put that in your purse. They always do that kind of stuff. And so now, you know, then I knew what I needed to get, but it made it to where I was like, wow, I can walk again and not hurt in my stomach, you know, around my navel. Doesn't hurt, because what it was doing was the muscles were rubbing against one another inside and causing all that problem and infection. From my navel, above it and below it, around it, was so red you would not believe. And she did tell me, she said one of the other ones had said it's probably going to get worse before it gets better, the redness, so don't panic. Well, they didn't tell me that, and some of that information I was reading, that they send, like, you have to read a novel, but it's behind, click, you know, get online, click this, click that, and everything. And it basically said if it changes and gets worse, to come back, you know, come back in. Well, I did. And then they were saying, well, this time don't panic. It wasn't panic. You start having blood and some purplish looking stuff coming out of your navel. Yeah, you might want to go see somebody. That's how my brain. I'm not a professional. I'm not a healthcare, you know, provider or guru or voice of authority on and whatever. They have their reasons, but I wouldn't know that. It's become my favorite thing to say lately is, how would I know that? And seriously, how would I know that? And their own stuff online says if you have an infection and it's, you know, whatever you were there for, if you know what I was there for, okay, if it worsens to you know, come, it was the middle of the night, not middle, but it's kind of, you know, to seek help, you know, get professional help. Well, that started right then at like 11 or so, you know. Where was it going to go? There's no urgent care open, you know, because I called them before I went in. I called them and said, this is what's happening. She said, was there any urgent care open? And I said, no urgent care open at 11 o'clock at night here. Yeah. But anyway. And there was more said to me that was wrong. One thing that was wrong that was said to me was after that, the next day I went to pick up my medications. They had gotten them wrong. The doctor there that was there at that time didn't like the doctor that, I mean, I don't know if didn't like or what, but didn't like what he had prescribed for infection. It was basically, well, anyway, it was normal ones. He didn't like that, so he wanted to change it up. Well, I now know why it says I cannot take a certain medication. It's because it could kill me. It could make my heart go crazy. And that's one of them he prescribed, and he actually had given me one while I was in there. Given me a bunch of antibiotics. I said, can you have that many antibiotics in your brain? Again, I mean, not your brain, but your body. Again, it's one of those, how would I know that? Because the answer was, at least this one said, and I'm not saying this is right for anybody, but she basically said, yes, I could, however many it was. And that amount, I'm not going to say how much, but wasn't going to bother me. Okay. Don't anybody think, oh, I could just go take a whole bunch of them. Yeah, because that one said it to me. Because like I'm saying, some of these things they're saying to me, they're wrong. Seriously. As would later be found out by the pharmacists. And pharmacists I listen to the pharmacists. They do not steer me wrong. Okay. Anyway, the pharmacist said that I can't take that one when I got the next day. Went to pick it up, and he said, you can't take that. And it's because they have that medication, and one of my blood pressure medications has a bad reaction with one another, and it could literally kill me. So, and I take that one twice a day. I call the ER, and the woman, I know her from there. I've seen her a few times and all that. And she told me, she said, well, can't you just stop taking that blood pressure medication? Whoa. That was seriously wrong. The pharmacist, he was shocked. he totally shocked. And it took a whole day, things to get worked out with all that. He was just so shocked. No, you never just stop taking. You know, that's what he was basically saying. Like I said, these are people saying this to me. So, you know, that doesn't mean it would be to everybody, but I cannot imagine anybody say, like it happened. She told me to stop taking them during the meanwhile. No, crazy woman. You know? Plus, it's got the diuretic, which is supposed to help. Okay, which is supposed to help with the swelling. And that's why they weren't, you know, adamant asking, why don't they give her this stuff? You know, because I had asked, what do they do? And they said that, you know, for people with this kind of swelling, and she said, you know, to get this water off after a year, over a year, it's a lot of weight, by the way. I'm carrying around, you know, bought even bigger shirts because it looks so totally unbelievable. Just weird. And then she's trying to tell me, so the pharmacist is like, I cannot believe it. I mean, he can believe. He didn't say, I can't believe it. He just said, nobody ever would, you know, should say that to a patient, to just stop. And she's got a few issues, though, really, going on. And I've known that. Anyway, so a lot of stuff. There was some other thing that had happened that was said to me that the first time I was in there, when I was actually admitted, besides, you know, this one, the doctor said might be a small hernia. One thing I'm not going to mention until I scheduled 2 appointments yesterday, one with a specialist and one with I have to have an interim doctor. The nurse, while I was in the hospital, she scheduled me for one that I had actually seen it right before all this started that I had to wind up going to the hospital. In an urgent care, I'd seen him there, and I'm going to see him now as my PCP, but in the meantime, it's not until like the end of the year. That's how far they schedule out the first visit, and it tends to be months. But there was another one that's not the same way, and I'm going to go to at the end of this month a regular PCP and regular family doctor, I think. Some people list this family doctor and all these different things, but anyway. And then there's a specialist. I see the beginning of next month. I think it's the beginning. I have to do one more as another specialist, and to see what's going on with me, if they can find anything. Oh, and they get me on some kind of, it's the diabetes thing, really, that's never been under control, no matter what I do. And they say that it's because of my rare health condition, and on and on and on. And I'm telling you, I had so much information hit me, and this is just like a small fraction within those 24, it was more than 24 hours, 2 days, 1 night. Just so much information. And anyway, I need to go pick up stuff, and I need to go to the grocery store to get those bandages. So, okay. Anyway, by the way, the store that I'm going to is a Walmart neighborhood market. It's not the big superstore. And hopefully they have those, because I try to order them online. And, I don't know what I would be getting as it is. I mean, I know how much is 2 to 4. This one's 4 inches and this one's 2. Which one I need. What are you doing? Oh, did you see that? I don't know if you could see that. It just backed up. Hello. What's wrong with people? Too many people. Not everybody, of course. But what's wrong with them? I mean, hello. I'm telling you, my life in Narcissismville. But anyway, hopefully, because I try to order them to be delivered, I really don't want to be out walking too much. I'm kind of easing my body into, like, we're sitting in the car, the SUV, driving, because I have to get back to work at some point, and just seeing how my feet do. They are a little swollen. But the day after I got, well, as we were leaving, I said, I told Adam before we got there, I wanted to stop and see what this store was. I didn't think all that was going to happen, that I was going to be admitted and all that. And I kind of had a feeling I would be, but that first time, And on the way home, we stopped at one, and I was like, nah, I should not be out walking. They didn't tell me stuff like that. Now, after the second time, yeah, I had a clue, and so I'm easing myself into it. But that surgical tape shield, it covered, I'm saying it's huge. It covered the 9 months, looks like it's 9 months pregnant, swelling stuff. It covered that from way on the side and all. I'm not, like I said, a gentle giant, so I'm not real petite, or however you would call it. And I got it, honestly, my dad was like a giant. 6'7" was all he admitted to. And all he admitted to, 6'7". Got it, honestly. But anyway, so that was helping me, to be able to walk with ease, and it was just such a relief. I'm serious, it was such a relief. And then I had to take that off, of course, to shower, and and then put on a new one, which is not that great. Adam has to put it on, the tape and all that, because of how it is. I'm not a contortionist, so he had about, I don't know, what do you call, what's the expression for somebody who lacks patience? Impatience of, he has the patience of what? What does not have patience? I don't know. I think there is an expression, isn't there? Anyway. But yeah, he just can't do that. Plus, I have a big bruise. And I finally asked them, what is this bruise about? I did ask them, not finally, but when I had to go back. And the woman, she said, oh, you have this bruise, that's from, and she named a drug. And I know what it is. It's something to make sure the blood doesn't, what's the wording? I don't know. I'm not an voice of authority on this stuff. The blood doesn't clot. Okay, really, quickly, or however it is. Okay, that's what it's for. Okay, because when I went in, one of the nurses said, when I got admitted, she said she was going to give me something for that because all that was going to be going on could possibly cause that to happen. The blood to clot, and it could lead to a pulmonary embolism or some such, whatever it was, an embolism. I don't know how that all works. Like I said, I'm not a voice of authority on this stuff. So, and I had told Adam, when they gave him my insulin shots, that they gave him on, I had them do them once on, well, they did it. They asked me, I said, put it on the arm. I've never done the arm before. And they did it on the next arm, the other arm, and then back to the next one, the next time. I only had, I think, 3 insulin shots while I was there, and they should have done more, seriously, but they didn't feed me. Adam wound up eating one thing they gave. They said, you didn't, what time did you come in? I said, noon, around noon. And they did not feed me lunch or dinner. Adam went out and got something. And then the next day, he went out and got the meals too. Because they forget. But it's a little different there than you'd think. And, than normal. Anyway, what else? I'm going to wrap this up so I can go in there, get it, maybe make another video on my way home. It feels good to be out. Oh, and by the way, before I left to go here, I wake up real early in the morning. And, before I went into the hospital, I was waking up around 4 a.m. every day. And then, since I was in the hospital, it's more like 7. Okay, and so I woke up at 7 this morning, had to take some medicines, do that, and then went back to bed, do some medicines and a few other things, and then I went back to bed. And when I woke up again, it was like close to 11 maybe, and Adam was missing. And I've been through this before. Okay, like I said, he's a little older than I, and he was missing when I woke up. Wasn't anywhere in the house. I figured he had gone somewhere, so I looked out the window. Nope, his SUV was there. Plus his phone and his pack of cigarettes were on the on one of the countertops, the kitchen, and so I went around the house, even went, the dogs directed me toward the garage because they were barking and all this stuff. So went there, and no light was on. Nope, he wasn't in there. It wasn't open, to the outside, and just kept going around and around the house. Actually went out, walked in front of the house all the way around. It was a big house, and couldn't find him, any of that, and everything. Anyway, this allergies, by the way, like I said earlier. And so all through the house, and I kept hearing on one side of the house, I kept hearing noises, and every time I'd yell out his name, I'd hear the noise again. It's a brick house. I mean, I'm not going to hear, I don't know, it sounded like it was coming from the roof. Now, I have a history with him with this. Did I mention this at the beginning? It could have. That he actually one day, we were younger, say 15 years ago, I don't know. He got on the roof on that side of the house, right where I was hearing the noise. He got on the roof and had a panic attack and couldn't get down. I was there. He was saying, no. I was saying, I'm going to go call the fire department, have them come and get you off that roof. And it's not like it's just short, short distance. He had the ladder there and all that, but it's still, I'm like, how in the world did you even get up there? Because he got up there and he climbed a bit, and then it's not a flat roof. It's not straight roof up and down. No, it's all kinds of corners and everything. And I was like, how in the world did he even get up there? But anyway, I was going to go call him, and he said, no, I'll get off. And so I was walking back in, and he got off of the roof. crazy man. He does. I'll tell you, the two of us are two totally opposite people. And that was pretty crazy. So I was afraid that was what he was doing this time again. And so I had to wind up calling. I kept yelling out for his niece. Like I said, she's half my age. She's an adult. And kept yelling out for her upstairs, and she wouldn't. I don't know what she was doing. And she couldn't hear me because I can raise my voice pretty loud. Kinda. But, so I used his phone to call her. She came down and had her come down. She went looking. She walked outside. She goes, there he is. He was building a wall for the dogs so they wouldn't go to this fence and tear it up. So, okay, but before that, both of us went, and I said, you know, there's a little bit of a language barrier between she and I. I don't really know how much, because sometimes she seems like she understands everything I say. Sometimes she doesn't. So we went all over, and I told her what was going on, and we went, and she said, I hear this, I hear it, you know. Where is he? What's going on? You know, is he in there taking a shower? Is he in there? No, he's not in any of those. And I told her that I had seen him on the roof, and I had to get him down from the roof. Well, but the thing about it is, in his family, that's not the only one. It's not the only one that's happened to. It has happened with me, with her. But that was a different story. Okay, and that was recently. She went walking, and Adam had said to go do some exercise walking. She wanted to go where her mother had went. Her mother was one I had to try to find. Where was she? Okay, you know, when you're new to somebody's house, you're just visiting, going walking. I mean, I'm talking like a few miles in one direction. In Texas, in the summer, it's not a good idea. No. So, anyway, I had to go get her. I had to go find her mother. I don't know if her mother, I couldn't find her or what. I don't remember. And this was years ago, her mother. And anyway, let me just skip that to this. I had to go find his dad and his older brother. Different times, all of these. Okay, they have a history with that family. And I think even his younger brother. So all of them. The only one not was his mother. She had some sense, I guess. But, hey, I can't say much. I have, I had two family members that we've had to go look for before. So, also. Just two, though. Not the whole freaking family. Except for one. I mean, what is it? Okay, I don't really need an answer to that. I have it all, understood in my mind. Okay, I think it's time for me to get in there, get it done, and go home. Don't you? Talk to y'all in another video. Bye.